With my freeze ray, I will find the time to find the words to tell you how you make me feel. What's the phrase? Like a fool, kinda sick, hard to breathe anyways. Hello, curiosities, and welcome to my 30 in 30 in 30. That is 30 things I've learned in my 30 years on this planet, presented to you over the 30 days of April. Goodness willing, if I manage to keep this up. Since we talked about relationships, I figured we could kind of keep that rolling and slide into a more healthy approach to certain things and talk a tiny bit about dating. That's the plan. You and me rule the world any day. So I framed this in the idea of like dating, but I realized what I really want to talk about is actually more, you can apply it to many things. And the real heart of the matter is, if you ask a question, you have to be prepared for any answer. You have to be willing to accept any answer. And I'm not saying you have to be happy about it, because obviously we have to feel our feelings. But if someone gives you an answer and it's not the one you want, I'm sorry, you can be upset about that, but that was their answer, and you can't seek to then try and change it or deny that that was their answer. You need to be honest with yourself, and that was what happened. For instance, I was in a terrible situation 7 months ago? Can't remember now. But regardless, I was in a terrible situation, and it was the question of, are you willing to help me and fix this? And the answer was no. And of course I'm willing to, I invested over 3 years of my life into this. I was planning a future around this. I'm allowed to be upset about that, but I have to accept that that was the answer. You know what I mean? I can't try to rewrite what's happened, because that's not healthy for the other person involved, and that's definitely not healthy for me in my life. So you can probably see where I'm going with this, and that is simply, if you ask somebody out and they say they are not interested, that's the end of the conversation. That's it. There's no more. Done. That is their answer, and there's no more of that conversation to be had. Then you get to go back and be like, all right, well, so do you want to go get fries or something and see a movie as friends? Or I don't even know, however you deal with rejection. The improper response is to then get mad at that person, especially in this situation, because when it comes to feelings, as we have discussed, you have your feelings. You feel what you feel. So does that person, which means they have no control whether they share this feeling with you or not. Fun fact, they, just like you have no control over the fact of well, I like you a lot. They do not have control over the fact that they do not like you in that way. Weird how that works, right? It's almost as if they're humans just like you are, and you can apply the same rules of how your stuff works to them. Interesting. It's like we're all connected in some sort of way. And you might be like, oh, but sometimes people change their mind. You're right. Sometimes they do. However, your part of that conversation is now done. If they decide to change their mind, it is now their job to talk to you. That conversation is over. This is about respecting people's decisions and, respecting their feelings. I don't know why this is such a foreign concept for so many people. I realize there are people who are older than me that still have trouble grasping this concept. There are people who are twice my age who still have trouble grasping this concept. And I'm bewildered by this. I'm also very bewildered that there are so many people who take dating rejection so personally. It doesn't quite make sense to me. Look, we don't control our taste buds. We don't. We also don't control who we're attracted to. Because if we're both going to the ice cream shop, and I'm like, well, I want to have strawberry, and you're like, oh, I hate strawberry. Boom. We're not sharing an ice cream. That's just simple as that. You get your ice cream, I'll get mine. We'll just chill, we'll hang out, we'll be buddies. Done and done. And maybe I am wired differently than some people. That's very possible. I am one of those people, frankly, who believes that if I don't end up in a couple by the time I die, I'm cool with that. I get to hang out with me, and I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of fun on my own. I get to do adventures, I get to hang out with friends, and it's just like, it's fantastic. But I think we put too much stock in this idea of you have to find another person. And maybe that's why people take it so personally and get so upset when a friend does not return their affections in that way. I don't get it. I have never once been angry at someone for not returning my affections. I have never even decided to like end a friendship based on affections not being returned. In fact, I think I am friends with most people I have had a crush on. If I have unfriended them, it was for non-crush reasons or non-romantic-y reasons. It was, oh, you're actually an asshole. Well, goodbye. But again, was not related to them not returning my affection. And I don't understand why this is a thing. Like, or why it has to be awkward. Like, I feel like it can be such a just like, hey, I really like you. I would like to see where this might go. Is that something that's interesting to you? And if they're like, nah, man, no, it's not something I ever really saw. Sorry. You'd be like, cool. Let's continue our lives. That's all it has to be. I don't know why. Maybe rom-coms are to blame, man. I don't know. I don't know why it's like this thing that's like so like wrapped up in like your future and fate and gives people so much anxiety. Like, I don't get that. I really don't. Like, just be cool and hang out, man. Like, and if you guys decide to couple, great. If not, great, because you're gonna both be awesome anyway, because you're gonna treat each other with respect and love, and that's all you really need. So, if you're gonna ask a question, like any question, you have to accept and respect the answer you're given, regardless if it's the answer you wanted to hear or not. Plain and simple. I know sometimes it's easier said than done, and I'm not saying you shouldn't feel your feelings. Goodness gracious, feel your feelings. Those are your feels. You can't change them. But don't take them out on the other person, especially when that other person has absolutely no control over what you're upset about. They don't. You just don't. I mean, obviously, if they're a dick about it, like, you should be like, hey, you know, you could have handled this better. But that's usually not the case, at least in my experience. And if they're a dick about it, you'll be like, oh, well, good, I just dodged a bullet not dating you then, because apparently you're secretly an asshole. And that's really what I want to talk about today, is to keep it short and simple. And very like, wah. So I hope you guys are having a marvelous rest of your day. I love you to pieces. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And definitely like share these around. Like, I really appreciate seeing you guys show my videos everywhere. It just warms my heart, especially because it's not really that easy doing 30 videos in 30 days. I'm not gonna lie. It's day 7 and I'm feeling a bit winded. Hoping to get a little ahead of myself this weekend. I was ahead of myself, and then social obligations happened and I fell behind again. So, anyway, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Share, subscribe, all that jazz. Mwah.